Hello there everyone, welcome back to another Gate Ruler video. We've got 3 new influencer reveals to talk about, so let's get started with our first one here, which is Hit and Run Comet Attack. This is actually a really cool card, very reminiscent of Ikeda's early design work, but this time with a lot more polish, I think, much more well thought out, much fairer, to an extent bad, but I don't think it's bad. So this is an accident trait. Use timing. Set and use when your opponent's life becomes 2 or less. Now that's actually a really important clarification. Not like when your opponent's life is 2 or less, when it becomes 2 or less. So this means that if your opponent goes down to 2 or less and you choose not to use this, that was your only timing to use it. So like if they go down to 2 and you choose not to use this, you can use it again when they go down to 1, but other than that, that's kind of it. You can't like drive this, for example, the turn after your opponent has gone down to 2 and then just use it. That's not allowed. You have to use it when your opponent crosses that threshold. So, that being said, what does it do? Why do you care about that? Something just appeared. Deal 2 damage to your opponent. At the end of the turn, deal 2 damage to yourself. Oh, it has come towards me too. So, cool idea. I'm a big fan of this. And this is actually a really fair finishing card, right? So, the use timing on this makes it really restrictive. You can only use it as a finisher. And it's a level 2, so if you use this in an energy-based deck, it's going to be a bit expensive. And if you use it in a drive-based deck, it's taking up a reasonable amount of your level limit. Even though you probably aren't going to play too many of it, because it's something you will like drive and keep set until relevant, or you'll hold in your hand until you need it. But when you do get to use it, this is really powerful. It's going to come out of nowhere, and it's probably going to kill your opponent. But there is counterplay for your opponent. If you flip this and they just go, alright, Flying Shield, or reduce damage to 0 through some other means, then you're kind of screwed, because you're about to take 2 damage at the end of that turn. My favourite idea of the way this is getting used is going to be something like your opponent is going to like be on 3, and they're just going to drive a Haunting for turn, and you just go, a flip, which would be very entertaining. But there we go. So I think this is a really cool card. And as I say, with all these influencer reveals, the original reveals will be linked in the description. And while you're down there chilling in the description, why don't you hit the subscribe button? It's the red one. Hit like on the video. It's the thumbs up. And buy some Gate Ruler product using my affiliate links, because it supports the channel, and I am Paul. Next, we've got Crow the Bird Tengu. I'm saving the best for last. Crow the Bird Tengu. This is a really cool card. The artwork I'm a big fan of. And this is a apparition, a beast, and a military. Those are very relevant typings. Again, like apparitions getting more and more support, it's becoming more and more a thing. But far more importantly, I think, is the beast and the military synergies, because the beast means this can get buff from stats, and you can use this with all those important things. For example, Stridum, it's going to be used with that. And military, of course, means it's usable for all that, which is great. I can see this slotting quite well into whatever the strategy appears to be for the zombie deck, potentially. You could just chuck it in there. Anyway, it's a 3/3/1, so the stats are not fantastic. The same stats as Mr. Dead Language, so you kind of expect a good effect, and it has it. The counter is use the overdrive of this. Overdrive. Choose 1 enemy unit and send all its charges to the graveyard. So, of course, very specific counter to things like Stridum, to things like Malevolous Prime, to things like Detonator, but obviously removing charges from those units is really disruptive. That is, you know, Gashadokuro being the big one in set 1, like the fact that you can, like, almost those cards are costed so clearly with that charge in mind that being able to just remove it like that is really good. Now, whilst this is an overdrive and a counter, and previously I would have said, yeah, so you probably can only play this in drive decks, and I do think this is probably going to be a staple in a lot of drive decks, certainly in Highlander, smile. What's worth considering is that this is also really quite good with the secret weapon, because you are able to play the secret weapon, discard this to let you use that counter in an energy-based deck, and still filter. Now, it is kind of feels bad because you are negging quite hard. You're paying 2 to use the counter ability of this, and you're losing a card from hand. But depending on the matchup, that could be worth it. We'll have to test and find out, but I think a very necessary card that needed to exist, and I'm happy that it does. The final card is what I'm most excited about, though, and that is Wild Force Monkey support. So here we've got Sergeant Iron Bull. This is a beast, this is a military, this is a wild force. Again, very, very, very important typing. A 2-4-1, 4 level 1. So 4 HP is going to be very annoying for your opponent to deal with. That's kind of the threshold for this is pretty annoying. 5 is the threshold for what the fuck. 4 is the threshold for this is pretty annoying. 2 attack, kind of whatever. 1 strike, kind of whatever. The effect though. RPG, normal, pay 1 energy, not once per turn. Choose 1 enemy unit and deal 2 damage to it. Now, on the surface, this is kind of like whatever. Like, 2 damage is relevant. We know this because of Blaster Cannon, which is widely considered the best removal, all things, taken into account in the format. Certainly very, very widespread. And this does that. But I think the thing to consider is when you understand just how nuts this can get with even a single Guns and Gold Armory. With 2, this is disgusting. With a single Guns and Gold Armory, this is 1 energy to deal 4 damage. To deal 3 damage, sorry. Which means if you fully tap out with just this and 1 Guns and Gold Armory, you can remove a 6 HP beat stick, which is good. I mean, of course, this also has 2 attack, so it's essentially like this has a very, up to, for example, with 1 Guns and Gold Armory, 8 attack worth of power. With 2 Guns and Gold Armory, this is ridiculous, because then for 1 energy you essentially just use Hellkong's touchdown, which is a really, really powerful touchdown, and you can just keep going up from there. But 2 Guns and Gold is a very reasonable amount to expect to be able to have, and this is really powerful with something like that. Just that targeted removal, the fact that you can use it whenever you want is so valuable, and the fact that this is 4 HP, meaning it's pretty annoying for your opponent to deal with, it makes this card really, really good. If it was, the only way this would be better if this was immediate timing, but if this was immediate timing, this would be one of the most disgustingly broken cards in the game, in my opinion. This would be ridiculous. But there we go. That's it for this video's card reveals. Subscribe to the channel for the latest Gate Ruler content. Join my Discord server. All these cards get posted there when they get revealed. I wait for them to be enough to be worth making a video about before I aggregate and make them into the videos like this. So if you want to be 100% up to date, then you should join that Discord server. Join the Facebook group, the North America, or not the North America, the worldwide Gate Ruler TCG Facebook group. Link in the description. I post all these there as soon as they go up as well. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.